All right, fam. I want to welcome you to the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast, as you know, is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things mindset, motivation, entrepreneurship, free thinking, and how to live your best life possible. And today is no different. And normally I do not, I'm actually podcasting super early today, which I normally don't do, but I had to get in here because I was working out today, and to be quite honest with you guys, um, podcast and posting have been secondary because I had to deal with a bunch of life altering personal shit. And the past 4 months has been extremely challenging for me personally and professionally. And I am a firm believer in you must take care of yourself before you continually give to others. Now, sometimes you can give and you can find your way out of the darkness, but you know, the darkness was looking all consuming. So I thought it best is if I like step back a little bit. Maybe some people didn't even notice, but people closest to me definitely noticed. But I say all that because I'm working out this morning, and it was interesting for me. So I was boxing earlier, as I'm going through and I'm hitting the bag and I'm processing all these fucking thoughts. And all I kept thinking was, even with me going through the turmoil and bullshit I'm going through now, I started to think about all the past stuff, all the past traumatic experiences and all that. Like, I was like, yo, Dave, you are so resilient. You are so resilient. So I wasn't necessarily the past 4 months like on no woe is me stuff, because I never feel sorry for myself. Everything that's supposed to happen happens. And you just have to be willing and have the balls to move forward when the things that are happening are not good things, or not the or what you perceive to be not good things, or perceive to not be the best things. So anyway, I'm going through this workout this morning and I'm like murdering the bag, absolutely destroying the bag. And I start to get more and more angry because I realize, even though the past 4 months has been absolutely life changing for me, both good and bad, a lot of bad shit happened. But the thing that's cool is I've overcome so much worse stuff. Like, I'm sitting here and I start to like reminisce and pick things apart. I was remembering when I was in college, and I was living in I was living down Frankfurt and Allegheny and K&A. And if you know what that is, if you're from Philly or from the Northeast Coast, we call that the Badlands. It's drug infested, and it's worse now. It was drug infested back then, worse now. But I remember every day, I remember being in college, working, doing like student work hours for money. And I remember not really having money to live. I was living in the house with these two guys. They were really great to me at the time. Two gay guys were like older brothers to me. They were really great, very professional, taught me a lot about life. But I'm living with them. I was renting a room for them. I literally had no money to pay for the room, barely, no money to really feed myself. I was determined to finish college. And at this point, I didn't have money for transportation to get back and forth to school. So what Diva did was, for months on end, probably about 6 months, I walked an hour to school every day. I walked an hour to school. I walked an hour home. Now, within that hour, I was in school for dance and choreography at the time. That's what my degree is in. But in school for dance and choreography, I would walk an hour. I would perform all day, take class all day, take core classes all day, go and do whatever side work I was doing, which would be teaching dance classes or teaching group fitness or training, whatever. I wasn't really a trainer yet, but and then walk an hour home. I did that every day for 6 fucking months. And not once did I feel sorry for myself. I had a goal. I had something I needed to complete. I had something I needed to do. And nothing was going to stop me from doing it. Nothing. The goal was ultimately to finish college. And if I knew if I let the setback of not having money to get to and from the university stop me, I'd be done. If I would have stopped going for that, I probably wouldn't have went back. And mind you, nobody knew what I was going through. And the only reason someone finally said something to me, one of my dance instructors pulled me to the side and was like, yo, you've lost a shit ton of weight in the last 2 months. Like, are you okay? And I told him, I was like, yeah, I just walk an hour to school and an hour back every day. And he was like, and you're still coming here and dancing for 8 hours and taking classes and going to rehearsal? Yes. That amazing instructor, that amazing man, gave me money. Great guy, Jonathan David Jackson, amazing man. He bought me money. He gave me money for public transportation. He said, Diva, you cannot walk this much every day and still perform and finish school and be focused and tired. He said, take this. He said, I'm going to buy you a bus pass every month so you no longer have to walk to school. That was life-changing. So like when I say to you guys, and I've often said, if you take one step, God will take two. This is what the fuck I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. When I first moved out on my own, I think I was 19 years old. I moved to the dorms. I said, screw the dorms, really shitty, hated dorm life. Somehow got an apartment. I don't even know how I got an apartment back then, but I did. Get into my first apartment. I'm paying rent. And I had this cat. I've always been an animal lover. I had a cat. Loved this fucking cat. And I was teaching dance at Freedom Theater. I was teaching dance, and that's how I was making money. I was teaching dance at the time and teaching aerobics. But it still wasn't enough to like pay my rent and feed myself and put me on the bus, etc. So again, I'm just grinding away. And one of my mentors one day pulled me into the office. She's like, Diva, are you okay? And I'm like, why do you ask? She said, again, because at this point, I didn't have money for food. So I was paying my bills and I was feeding my fucking cat. That's what I did. And if that meant that I couldn't eat or I ate less, that's what I did. So she's like, and she asked me, she said, are you eating? I said, no. No need to lie. We here. Like, she didn't call me on my shit. We here, right? She said, are you eating? I said, no, I'm not eating. She asked me why. I said, I just don't have money right now. I said, I don't have money to eat. This woman bought me groceries for a few months to help me get it together. Because again, I was dancing, semi-professional at the time. I was teaching dance. I was teaching group fitness. I was doing all these things, right? Trying to build a life, or what I destined to be a life at that time. And she knew I was struggling and she fed me. Again, I say to you guys, the struggle, right? You take one step, God takes two. You just show the fuck up. You just show up. And you put your head down and you keep going. And the crazy part about all this is my life has been a series of these fucking stories. Like, this ain't even all of them. And I keep talking about how I'm gonna write this book, and I have been working on a book, and all this stuff is in there. And there's more stuff I definitely want to tell you guys. I just not yet, because I really haven't told anybody. But I really need you to understand that your character is built in struggle. Your The person who you are becoming is built through the struggle. So when people look at me and they're like, Diva, you're so whatever the fuck you think I am, strong, confident, cool, badass. All that has come from the baseline of the struggle. That's where it's come from. And even now, as I sit here before you, I'm telling you, yes, I'm going through some shit. But let me tell you, it really has made me so much stronger and so much wiser. The struggle makes me who I am. Your struggle makes you who you are, and it leads you to the amazing person you can become. If you embrace it, if you overcome it, if you conquer it. Now, if you let the struggle destroy you, it takes you down another path. But if you're listening to my podcast, you're one of these people right now. You're like, no, I'm trying to be the other person. I want to overcome. I want to win. I want to destroy obstacles. I want to take advantage of opportunity. Sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is the thing that never happens to you. I know you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, D? But sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is one of those things that like never happen. Sometimes the life you think you build and you want is not the life that's going to lead you to greatness. I'll say it again. Sometimes the life you think you want to build, you want, is not the life that leads you to greatness or the life that's going to lead you to your full potential. So even now, as I sit here, am I winning? Yeah, I'm winning. Things are getting done. But I must say, I think I slightly enjoy the fucking suffering. I enjoy being humbled. I enjoy fighting through resistance. Because every time I do, I elevate to this other place, and it's amazing. So if you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, and you're going through the struggle, and you're worried that you may never come out on the other side, I'm here to tell you, you're going to come out on the other side. It's like you're in a place of either you do this and you win, or you just die. You got nothing. And there's something to be said for being focused and pushing and having momentum. There's something to be said for that. Momentum is crucial. It's crucial. Once you start winning, you keep winning. You just have to get past the struggle and the suck. Winners win because they keep the fucking momentum going. That's why winners win. I need you to overcome this struggle, whatever it is you're going through. And like I said, I got a million stories. Maybe we even just do a whole freaking episodic content thing where I just tell you these stories. Stories of how when I was in high school, I got upset with my mom and I went to live with my dad because I thought it would be the best thing ever because he gave me so much freedom, which he did. But then I got there and realized that my dad didn't even have electricity in the house. He didn't even have running. We were living literally, technically as squatters. No real fridge and freezer. And the only reason he finally got electricity is because I was there. My room had wires hanging out everywhere. I swear we was living in a fucking abandoned building. It was crazy. We stored our frozen food in a bathtub. In a fucking bathtub. Because it was the only place, this big ceramic tubs. They don't even make them like that no more. Keep the food cool until we got to it. enjoy suffering. I also enjoy overcoming it and showing people what's possible. My life right now is an example of what the fuck is possible. And the best part about this is I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. I'm not even where I want to be yet. I'm just getting started. So as I overcome these struggles and obstacles, the goal is to live life every day in such a way that you, whoever comes across me, gets to see what is possible. That's what I want for you. And my job is to live and just continually press forward and overcome. We all have struggles. We all have hardships. But it is important, family, that you remember. It's so important that you remember. They are literally there to make you stronger. And if you do not allow them to make you stronger, they destroy you. Everybody on this podcast has a winning mindset. That's why you're here. You're trying to improve it. You're trying to grow. I encourage you to embrace your struggles. I encourage you to conquer. I encourage you to bust through fucking walls. I encourage you to destroy. I'm telling you, I'm pushing for you to fucking win. I want you to win. I want you to win. And I think over the next couple of days, part of the reason everybody gets super reflective at the end of the year. Not that I don't reflect often, but I was extra reflective during my workout today. And so I was like, oh, I got to talk about this. I think I'm going to share a little bit every day. You're going to get more stories. But the goal, family, the goal is to overcome that struggle. Use it as fuel and motivation. I've said it time and time again. Embrace the suck. Suffering is a necessity for growth. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. I still hate being uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable. Again, guys, you're listening to the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things mindset, motivation, entrepreneurship, free thinking, and how to live your best life possible. Make sure to go over to my website, divarichards.com, and subscribe. Also, follow me on Instagram, Diva Richards, Facebook, Diva Richards, and Twitter, the same. All right, fam. Like I always tell you, just remember this. Nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. Let's go.